Down the near side, man open, touchdown! Will Waddle has got it on the run, and he's gone. Jalen Waddle, touchdown! The run from Tua Tagovailoa. Picked off, flying Xavier Howard.
All right, huddle up, huddle up. We're gonna crank these engines up on one. All right? Wait, set. Drivers, start your engines.
This is the finish line.
I coached some great offensive linemen in the past. Larry Little, Dwight Stevenson, Jim Langer, all Hall of Famers, and Richmond Webb belongs to that same group.
Here are your hosts, legendary Miami Dolphins left tackle Richmond Webb, Reason, and Mr. BallGame.
What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we're back here for yet another episode of the Finish Line, part of the Believe Podcast Network. As always, we're your hosts. I'm Reason, joined by the Triple OG, Mr. BallGame, and of course, the legendary, deserves a gold jacket before old Zachy boy, Richmond Webb. Gentlemen, it was... we broke down the all 22 yesterday. It was tough at times. I will tell you. It was just an overall tough weekend to get a 40 burger put on top of you by the New York Jets of all people. 5 of those rushing touchdowns, and really it was 19-17. And Jason Sanders couldn't convert a 54-yard field goal. Hey, we we were in the game until we weren't in the game. It was just a rough weekend. And guys, back-to-back weeks now, we have felt the pain of no victory Monday. So, like every week, I ask you, gentlemen, how art thou feeling?
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm good. Like you said, it's always tough when you lose to the Jets. But I think bigger than that is, the injuries that, happened. Teddy, first play of the game, no one was expecting that. And then Teron Armstead got hurt. We were already without X and Jones. So Tua was out. So it was just, I think I put a tweet out like, when it rains, it pours. So, I don't think it could have got any worse than it got. But I think Skylar came in and I thought he did a pretty exceptional job, being a third string quarterback coming in, competing, running the offense, and I'm sure he got limited reps. I'm sure Teddy took majority of the reps during the and getting ready for the game, and then to lose him on the first play. So I don't know if everybody understands what kind of position that man was in, but you don't get a chance to get the timing and stuff. Most of your reps are mental reps. So hats off to him, but I think defensively, we just got to play a little bit better. I think even if we have to go with Skylar this week, and I don't know, but you can't expect the guy to go up and put 40 points. That's almost like unreal. That's tough on a starter. So for a guy to be third string. So defensively, we got some things we need to get fixed. And I know if we can get our starting corners back and start getting people healthy, that'll be good. But like you say, we're 3-2. It is what it is. And, we got to keep going. So ain't no need to crying over spilled milk. But other than that, I'm good. How you doing, Mr. BallGame?
I'm all good, brother. I think these type of weeks really put you. For me, I mean, it gives me an opportunity to reflect on a lot of different things, and I was optimistic that maybe 5-1, 4-2 would be what we land after this first 6 because these are some really, some heavy hitters in the midst of this process. I think a lot of times I do it just because of my disdain for the Jets, but they've done, and I have to give them credit. They've done an amazing job of bringing in a lot of young talent, and it's tough to go out season after season and keep beating on someone. So to their credit, they decided to take advantage of the fact that we did come in there limping and wounded, and they didn't let up. They did what they were supposed to do. They went out and took everything that we had and then kept pounding on us until we broke, and it is what it is. That's football. So, at the end of the day, yeah. I don't know. At the end of the day,
every show of you, ball game. This man's talking about broke backs out here.
I forgot we're in the old, I forgot we're in the new era right now. I'll be forgetting, but
bro, you were relevant in the Cameron era, and we can't say what he used to say back then because it's 2022 now. But we all know what Cam used to say.
For me,
you know what I'm saying? Just click that. Yeah.
For me, I think it's most important right now to just remember that where we are is not where we'll remain. I don't believe. I think the health bug hit us early. I don't think it'll be around late.
This O-line.
The middle stretch of the season, I think is where we can gain some momentum. I mean, we talked about this in great detail earlier in the preseason, and looking at the situation as it lies right now, coming out of this with all of the injuries that we've had thus far. 3-3 is probably a blessing. Could have been worse. It does put into play that those 6 on the back end are a little bit more important. So we got to at least come out of those 4-2, 5-1, hopefully, and then play the game for field position and for playoff seeding. But no one will. We just take it 1 week at a time. So to Skylar, I don't hold anything against Skylar. I think Skylar went out and did the best he could as a third stringer. Yeah. There's not a coach on the planet, man, that I know of, and in all my years of coaching football and thinking about all of the games I've been around, you just can't plan for what happened to Teddy. And unfortunately, it just happened to be that it happened to us.
And that's why I'm, like all these people that propped Skylar Thompson up there as QB1 or on Tua's level or whatever, or starting all these debates about Tua and Skylar. Right. It was clear and evident, not only was Skylar not ready, but now look at the hate that Skylar's getting from some of our fan base. People are, they're calling him a noodle arm without realizing what Richmond said. He's getting mental reps. He's not getting live reps with Tyreek and them to get their timing down. That's when you get your timing down with these guys. He hasn't worked with the ones like that to get your timing down with these guys. And everyone's just ripping on him. And he was just held on this unfair pedestal based off preseason play where, guys, we've seen the last year. Remember, my whole mantra was send it to win it because Reed Sinnett looked good in the preseason. Okay, like let's all relax. You know what I mean?
Most of the guys he played against
are stocking shelves in Lowe's or on the lookout for BallGame walking through their Home Depot doors. You know what I mean? Like that, and I kept stressing when everyone was goo gagaing over. I said, "Man, I love the kid's potential in this system, but let's relax right now." I mean, the guy was out here slaughtering third, fourth, and never could, never was, and never will be's. You know what I mean? Like that's just what it is. And now people put him on that unfair pedestal. People bought naive people, because we know there's a big there's always been a naive portion of our fan base,
right?
And that's with every fan base in every sport, and they bought into it. And now some people are throwing their arms up and just ripping on Skylar because of that. And it's unfair to this kid, man. The kid busted his ass. He was put in the guy was put in the Willie Beeman situation. Sitting there reading the paper. Go in, kid. You got it.
No win situation.
Come on. You know what I mean? And this week, at least, whether Teddy is healthy enough to go, because I think he'll be activated tomorrow, whether Teddy's healthy enough to go and they feel more comfortable with Teddy or not, at least as of today, they were practicing and planning with Skylar being the guy. So if they go that route, Skylar's the most prepared he will be. That's why you got to plan like he's the guy, unless Teddy or Tua can go, because we know Teddy or Tua can run this offense.
Right.
But if they can't go last minute, you got to go. Well, Teddy. If Teddy can't go last minute, you go with Skylar and just prepare all week like he's the guy.
They're in South Florida, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we're going to see a huge dose of the run game.
Oh, yeah.
After
what we saw last week, too.
Yeah, put the elements on them again.
Let's talk about last week, too, because I do want to get into, obviously, the big news about Tua Tagovailoa returning to practice. Actually, you know what? Let's start off with Tua Tagovailoa getting into practice, then we'll get into the Jets game. Tua to return to practice today. Now, I posted this on the Patreon and under the community tab for members of Inside the NFL. I was told that there's almost no chance he plays this weekend. And it's basically they're not comfortable with the offensive line situation right now. They don't know. They're skeptical about whether Teron Armstead's even going to be able to finish this game or whether they're going to have to hold him out because we all know what turf toe can be. I mean, Richmond, quickly explain turf toe, how it would affect a player of Teron Armstead's caliber before I
it's got to be pretty serious. And I think my rookie year when I first came to Miami, I had turf toe, but not to the extent that he has. There's different degrees of injuries or whatever. And I think it's from in college, we played on turf. Now it's grass field, this and that, but we used to play on turf. We used to practice on turf. And it just kind of flared up and got irritated. But what really helped me was went to a doctor down there, and I guess it's two little bones under the ball of your foot. This was my case, not nobody else's. And I guess they was just inflamed, flared, and then they sent me to get orthotics, and it took pressure off of that ball to where it could kind of, and I got treatment and stuff that it made a huge difference for me. I'm not saying that's with what's going on with Tehran, because like I said, it's different degrees of it, and it can shut you down. And it's, a big toe is just like a thumb on your hand. If you don't have utilization of it, a lot of people don't realize it. But if I tell you to start doing something and not use your thumb, you'll be like, man, it's pretty tough.
And footwork with your base is one of the most important parts of playing the position, right?
No question.
Yeah, exactly. So anyways, I was told they're skeptical. Basically, I was told, and we saw Austin Jackson was activated off IR, I believe, a couple hours ago. We saw that they're very skeptical. I know they're not. I know there's not rave reviews going on about Liam Eichenberg's play right now. And I know there is even, everyone knows I'm a fan of the kid. I don't think there's, from what I understand, there's not overly rave reviews going on about Robert Hunt right now either, too. So anyways, I just don't think so. You got to think about it. If they bring him back, Teron goes out, this kid gets hit again, because we all saw what happens when you have to resort to Brandon Shell. Yeah. And this kid takes a hit all of a sudden, you know what I mean? So I was told almost no chance. And like I've said before, when I started reporting on the whole injury thing, even my own opinion was, I think we see him by the Steelers game. And I was told that's pretty much the target date right now. So,
in all fairness, I don't think that's a bad situation, though, considering that they're honestly and openly saying that the play of the offensive line is not remotely where they want it to be. And it's not that they want to even put any of these quarterbacks out there, but if you can spare your number one guy for a bit and keep some of this unnecessary but going to be driven by the NFL heat off of you, then you go that route and you fix or try to patch the line as best you can heading towards week 7. But I think it's a smart play by them, truthfully, because I know he probably wants to get back out there, but sometimes you have to say the players from themselves. And at the end of the day, what it really comes down to is if the line's just not there, then it ain't gonna really matter who you put back there. And unfortunately, you'd rather be the young guy, take the lumps and get himself acclimated to the game and figure out what he can and can't do under those circumstances, as opposed to putting your number one guy out there and then you lose him again for the rest of the season. So right now he's in stage 4 of the 5-step
process of concussion protocol. First step would be symptom limited activity. Then second step, aerobic exercise. Third step would be football specific exercise. Fourth, where he's at now, club-based non-contact training, which is players reaching the fourth stage are able to start throwing, catching, and running and engage in activities more specific to their position. And then the final thing, and this is where you get in the danger, and this is like, if they clear him on Thursday or Friday, here's your danger. And I know he kind of talked about it today, but all of a sudden, step 5 is full football activity clearance. And McDaniel said there is a scenario where Tua can be cleared from protocol before Sunday, but he said he hasn't done a thing on the field for 2 weeks. That wouldn't be fair to the player or the team to play him. I don't feel comfortable putting him in that position.
Right.
Can we talk about every level in the sport where if you're number one guy who knows the playbook and executes it the best well, if you clear him, you play him. And this tells you how optics this is. I mean, let's be honest. This is all. Well, bro, let's say, okay, your game's on Sunday. That you get ball game. Okay, yeah. Secondary coach. Your son gets cleared on Friday. Your game's on Sunday. That's your starting corner, and you're now. He's been in school at this school for 2 or 3 years. What are you doing?
He's playing.
Now, if he doesn't play, it's gonna be. If he gets cleared on Friday. Yeah. It's optics. Tua not playing for 2 weeks. Listen, ball game, Richmond. We can all talk about that. We talked about this before on the finish line, the audio portion, right? Due to the new CBA, they're not out here practicing twice a day like Richmond Webb was in the 90s. All right, like it's walkthroughs and little.
Position
flag
drills.
Football, like it's glorified flag football, right? Like you're not going to get up to game speed in practice right now in terms of in-game speed. You are going to get your timing and anticipation and such like that things down right now, right? So now I know it's a touchy subject. I got to ask it though, and I'm going to start with you, Richmond, former player. Tua is cleared on Friday. You playing him
in 2022? No. And it's based on, how magnified the situation was from the Buffalo and the Cincinnati game, this and that. If we were playing back when I played,
Marino would be out there with bells and whistles. Right?
I understand. So they got to be extra cautious because the thing with the way the media work, the analysts work, this and that, if he plays and makes it through, then it's okay. But if anything happens, they're going to jump on him, and then it's going to be, it was some coaches and stuff.
You cleared him and you put him out there right away.
It's just crazy how we've evolved to this space where the media can complete. Go ahead.
Skylar struggles the first quarter, but to his dress because he's cleared. He going in? Anyways, go ahead, BallGame. I'm just joking.
It's just crazy how we've gotten to the point where the media can sway your
influence.
Thought process. And as to how you play your players, because at the end of the day, none of these guys on these rosters would tell you. None of them would tell you that if they feel they're healthy, they don't want to play.
Put me in.
Yeah, and that's the crazy part about it, because we're worried about you're supposed to worry about him, but at the same time, you can't tell a guy, and this is where he makes his money, that they're not gonna be okay with just standing on the sideline when they know every game counts and they have a legitimate chance to do something that this team hasn't done in a long time, right? That's just a really sad situation, bro.
Oh, it's a sad situation. We were 3-0. Yeah. And from everything I gather, this team was prepping to be a major player at the trade deadline. And because we were going to go all in, and now we are literally staring down the barrel of 500. Anyways, we're going to get into all that in a second. Let's start off. Let's quickly go over this Jets game. 40-17. Skylar Thompson, 19 of 33, 166, and an interception. Zach Wilson, 14 of 21 for 210. Breece Hall, story of the game. He had 197 all-purpose yards. The Jets had 324 all-purpose yards.
The last two scores for me, they're just pile-on scores. I don't really count them. You know what I mean? I think in terms of where we were, the game was 19-17 to me. And I'm going to leave it at that in my mind because that's where we felt that's where things shifted as a result of our guys.
Well, they added 3 more scores, my friend.
Well, but what I'm saying though is like we just really didn't at that point have anything left in the tank. The defense was depleted. You know what I mean? They really just gave out of gas, and from there we made mistakes and did things that were very uncharacteristic, and they capitalized on.
Well, not really uncharacteristic. Is a 7th round draft pick, and the O-line let him down on, and he was frantic in the pocket. I mean, holding the ball too long led to that fumble right after they made it 26. Right?
The pick, I don't blame him.
No, the pick, I do not blame him because his arm got hit. Now, the fumble is a different conversation because you saw multiple times where he was indecisive. The only really window he anticipated all game was that seam throw to Gesicki for 30 yards in the 4th quarter on the final drive. Other than that, he wasn't really anticipating windows against the Jets.
He looked like Hammer. Hammer. Hammer used to do the dance. He was in
Hammer time. Hold your pants up, and he's like dancing around the block. Don't know where to go, bro. This guy's got his Aladdin pants on, don't know where to go, bro.
The ball, Skylar, yelling at get rid of the ball.
Yeah. Oh man, I am tame on screen. I tell you, like I'd be yelling my face off. Like
how old is it, man? He was having. I thought he was gonna blow a gasket, bro. Like, man, relax, bro. He was like, you gotta get rid of that ball. I was like, I know, but he's a rookie.
But let's talk about this for a sec. Mentioned the defense, an offensive guy mentioned the defense. BallGame, how do you feel about Richmond Webb? Anyways, hey, beef. Let's go. Let's talk about the real thing. Did we get beat by the Jets or did we get beat by Breece Hall, who, like I said, had 197 of their 324 total yards?
Yeah, Breece.
All right, like he had 79 on one catch of Zach Wilson's 210, and Zach Wilson just had to throw the ball 19 yards up the left sideline on like a wheel route. Like, come on, wide open.
He did us dirty.
Your guys' overall thoughts of the game. Listen, we got outpossessed by like they were on the field for 30 minutes and 58 seconds. We were on the field for like 29:02, and really overall we only allowed 322 yards, but that 3rd quarter we allowed 21 points, and really, guys, we can pin it back to 2 plays. Skylar Thompson not putting the proper amount of touch and ripping it to Tanner Connor on that seam throw. Tanner Connor still should have made the catch, but he dropped it. Then that lead, I know. Then we get a 5-yard little screen to Waddle. So instead of being at about their 25, we got to go out and trot out there now on 4th down and kick a 54-yard field goal. Jason Sanders, the most overpaid individual when the game calls for a field goal of 50-plus yards or more, trots out, and he decides he's going to shank it like, I don't know, it's a lamb on Christmas dinner, and boom, he blows it. They turn around. Next play, Zach Wilson, very next play now. They got it from our 40? Yep. Very next play, boom, right inside the 35 to Corey Davis. They're in field goal range. They ended up turning it into a touchdown, 26-17. Then the fumble comes on our very next possession, first play. Right. They score on that, and before you blink, it's 33-17, and we're losing to the sorry sack Jets. And
it's tough. Yeah, it's tough.
It's tough
because we're 5-0 without Tua. With Tua,
we're 5-0.
With Tua, we're 5-0 with Tua right now.
Easy.
I think we even win that game with Teddy. Oh, anyways, go boys. Your thoughts?
That's common, man. I mean, I think at this point right now, right? I have to tell myself that this is still a part of the trials that this team has to go through in terms of figuring out exactly what they're made of. So I'd rather have the injury bug early. I'd rather have to deal with all of this foolishness that we're dealing with now as opposed to later in the season. All they got to do is be able to galvanize themselves and stay together. But the problem is that the guy that they all rally to and the guy that they all have come to love is not the guy that's getting back there. Not the guy back there calling the shots right now. And that's the problem.
Well, the ball game. You know what Jet fans and Bill fans and Patriot fans and Raven fans are saying to us? Oh, well, you weren't complaining when you beat the Ravens and the Bills and they were injured. And you know what I say to them? Were they missing Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen?
Right. You didn't. Yeah, you weren't missing. You weren't missing.
Listen, I think we could have won that game without X and Byron if we had Tua.
Yeah.
Sorry, Josh Allen's winning game without Tre'Davious White.
Facts.
I'm just saying, like, it's
and
different,
for you
man.
And Hyde. He's doing it without them. So
bro. Dude, the thing is, you know what you're learning? Right now, Tua is the heartbeat of that offense.
Right.
Like, you can have all the nice weapons and all the shiny toys, but if you don't know how to properly distribute the football to them, what good are they? They're just shiny, fancy things that look nice. Anyways, Richmond, your feelings on the Jets game before we move on?
Yeah, I kind of agree with both of you guys. Yeah, I think like BallGame said, and even you said, I think the momentum definitely swung when we missed that field goal. And it kind of went downhill from there. I do agree that, you know, like you said, if we had Teddy, I think we have a much better chance. I think we possibly win a game as well. Yeah. But I think a lot of fans need to understand is, and when it's a difference between a starter and the backup, and on rare occasions, some teams will be loaded at a certain position for whatever reason. But most of the time, if you lose your starter, not saying the guy's not capable of going out there performing, but it's normally a huge drop off between the starter and the backup, and that's the reason they're backups. And some guys just need a little bit more time to develop, a couple of years. It's that, like you said, they're beating up on Skylar. Well, like you said, nobody shows anything in the preseason. He went out and executed against guys that were either not on teams or very few free agents. So he did what he was supposed to do, but he still has a learning curve to where he's not where Teddy Bridgewater, you know, or Tua is. But people just look at it and say, okay, you get in the game, you're a professional athlete, and you should go out there. And when you don't meet their level of expectations, then they just say, well, you're a bust, or they just start riding out. And that's not the case.
No,
it's a learning curve no matter what you do. And you got to be realistic. And I think most people are not realistic. I think the other reason is they saw how well we started out hot, and to drop 2 in a row, people in the back of their mind like, oh man, I don't want to go back to the same. But it's due to injuries. It's not due to us not playing well. And so I just, like you said, you got to kind of weather the storm like BallGame. We got the injuries early, but once we start getting these guys back and we're full strength, we're in a much better position than being like 0-5 right now and having to fight so hard the second half.
Even 2-3. Yeah, I agree. But I got to defend our defense for a sec here, because people are going off on our defense, and I got to say this, okay? Let me just throw some stuff at y'all. They only allowed 5 points in the first quarter. They allowed 0 points in the third quarter. They allowed 19 points through the first 3 quarters and 0 points in the third quarter alone. Okay, the wheels fell off. We can agree in the fourth quarter, but let's explain why the wheels fell off. Okay, we missed that 54-yard field goal. Right? There's 13-19 left in the fourth. They now get the ball. Okay, they score a touchdown. We put them, they only had to go 56 yards to score a touchdown, I believe. So we put them at like our own 45, basically, right?
Great field position.
So great field position, even get points no matter what. Then we get the ball back to make something happen. First play, delay of game. All right. Second play, Skylar Thompson, Carl Lawson strips him on the sack, fumble, and it is now recovered and brought down to the Miami 5-yard line.
And they're right back out there.
And then they're right back out there, and they score a touchdown. And we even, remember, people forget they scored a touchdown, but we had a penalty on the touchdown. Remember, Raekwon was going to get called for another face mask. And they put it on the end of the kickoff, right? So the offense goes back out there. Now it's 33-17. Offense gets the ball with 9:08 left. What happens? 3 and out. 3 and out. And remember, it was where we got to a 3rd and 1 situation. We gave it to Gaskin, no gain. Then we tried Moser to the right side, and he lost the 4 yards.
4 yards.
Right? And then they got the ball on downs. And where did they get the ball? Guys, they got the ball at the Miami 30. They only had to go 30 yards to score another touchdown. I mean, dude, the defense was held out to dry in the fourth quarter. Let's call it a spade here. And why the Sanders missed means so much is for a couple of reasons. Now, the Jets are down 2019 to a third-string quarterback.
They play different.
And I don't know, ask Richmond, but I'm going to take a wild guess in an NFL game. That ain't good for morale. Okay, number 2, all right?
You got to play different, too.
Now we're exactly. Hold on, that's 3.
Okay.
Number 2, we're kicking off and pinning them back on their own 25 now if it's a touchback. All right? So they're not starting at their own 45. So that's the difference. You're taking off those 20 yards. Number 3, they are behind by a point now. Now, Zach has to throw the football. You know what's coming at you a little bit. Sure, they've had success with Brees, but you know they're going to try and push the ball because other than a few explosive plays there and there, we had actually been decent against the run.
Right.
So,
yeah, it changes the whole complexion.
It changes the whole complexion of the game, bro. Exactly. So, that's like – it's just that field goal that Sanders missed and the Tanner Connor drop. They bit us in the butt a little bit. But let's talk about something that happened early on in the game. Quickly, your guys' thoughts on the whole Teddy being taken out and the spotter incident. Because, I mean, you guys saw local stations were putting out video of him not stumbling, giving thumbs up twice. I mean, was this guy a Jets fan? Like, I'm just saying, hey, I don't know. Like, are these spotters, these spotters local? I've just got to ask that. Are these spotters like? Are we gonna have Miami spotters saying if other players stumbled? Like, are these? I want to know. Are these guys local? Are they traveling? What's going on here, bro? They got binoculars, and this guy misses this.
Yeah,
and that ended up costing us the game. Now Skylar's thrown to the wolves instead of being prepared.
I mean, it's a viable question. I think it's a reasonable question when you take into consideration how big of a shift that was in terms of what we had planned.
Yeah,
and how that took us completely out of that game plan. So,
yep.
I would hope without a shadow of a doubt that it was somebody independent of both, but you never know.
Yeah, you never know.
You know what I mean? That's really what it comes down to. You know what I mean? The NFL has
got Mr. Magoo out here as a spotter, bro.
Yeah. And he looking at the dude stumbling down he looking at the
Stevie
dude
Wonder out here as a spotter.
Getting his beers and stumbling down to his seat, thinking it's Teddy, you know what I mean? You never know.
Yeah,
bro.
you never know.
It's screwed us, man.
What were your thoughts on that, Richmond? The whole Teddy, the spotter thing, because I know you've seen the videos and no one can find everyday evidence of him stumbling. And even when you guys watched the broadcast, I was wondering, why was Teddy? Remember they showed Teddy walking and he was shaking his head, looking back at the field, and I was wondering, what's he shaking his head about? It wasn't just shaking a cobwebs. He looked like bothered by something. Like, and obviously now we know what it is. What were your thoughts on it, Richmond? Because now teams are gonna have to carry 4 or 5 quarterbacks.
It's like I said, I think when he went down, I think he was probably okay to come back, but it's just they're on the side of caution. I mean, especially when you lost, they just say, hey man, we just got to take this one on the chin. And I think they said it was Cedric Wilson. If something happened to Skylar, he was going to be the next guy.
Let's go, baby.
And they started talking about, he played quarterback in high school.
Go from Teddy to Seti, baby. Let's go.
That's it. So I just say, man, hopefully we can make it through and we don't lose another quarterback, because I'm telling you, it was just odd that day.
Competition. Because Tom should be sitting down too then.
Oh yeah.
Teddy got
They're out here. This guy's drawing flags for people not putting pillows down for him. It's ridiculous.
I don't control the refs. Bullshit.
Yeah. Can we talk about now for a second how lackluster has Chase Edmonds been? I mean, let me read off his lines. Let's start off with New England, just rushing the football. 12 attempts for 25 yards, week 1. 5 attempts for 33 yards, week 2. 6 attempts for 21 yards and 2 touchdowns, week 3. 5 attempts for 6 yards, week 4. 1 attempt for 1 yard last week. Now, he was supposed to be this receiving guy. Week 1 starts off 4 receptions, 40 yards. Week 2, 1 reception for 8 yards. Week 3, 1 reception for 6 yards. Week 4, 2 receptions for 14 yards and a touchdown. Week 5, nilch, nada, 0, and we can talk about the drops because we've seen drops. Whether it's Skylar or Tua, don't matter. He's dropping them like it's hot, like his name's Pharrell or Snoop Dogg. What are your overall thoughts on this guy who just got paid $10 million? What he's getting like almost $5 million a year, right? And what is it, like five and a half a year? Well, I mean, speak about lackluster. I mean, geez, Raheem Mostert's running away with the job. Myles Gaskin gave us more life backing up Raheem Mostert than Chase Edmonds has really given us since week 1. Your guys' overall thought on the lackluster play of Chase Edmonds thus far, who everyone thought would, kind of take that number 1 role, and Raheem the Dream Mostert would actually be backing him up. What were you guys' thoughts on how he's been?
For me, I think the thing is the drop balls. I think that's what's drawn. Not that he hadn't got the running game going like we expected, but I think it's just key drops in positions that's what's etched in people's memory. And when you start talking about it, the first thing I thought about was we were playing, I think, Cincinnati, and he dropped that touchdown we had to. So when you drop plays, important catches like that, that's where you need to be clutch. And if you make those catches, but it's a couple more where he's dropped where it continue to be a first down or whatever. And so now when you don't make those catches, people start really looking at your whole body of work so far. And then you'll be like, oh man, it ain't it. If he make those catches, I think people wouldn't be so rough and say, okay, well, yeah, he ain't got the running game going, but he's made some clutch catches to keep the drive moving and this and that. And I think that's what sticks out. So yeah, I'm hoping he kind of gets on track because, normally you pay a guy like that, it's based on what he's done previously and not what he's doing right now. So I'm just hoping he kind of settles down and starts catching the ball and start being way more productive because we definitely could use it.
I think overall, bro, like you just gotta show up, man. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, get off the bus.
Yeah, you had all this time with most of rehabbing and not there to get yourself acclimated, and you got these guys trusting you, and then when they need you the most, you let them down. You consistently, week in, week out, let them down. You haven't showed up, and none of what you showed that made us even decide to bring you in, you've showcased. And it just, to me, it's just really a lack of being a professional. I mean, you can fault the offensive line for some things when we stay on them all the time, but the stuff that he's done, that's individual. Like those balls have been there. You got to catch them, and he didn't do it, man. And it just really and truthfully just don't make no sense. So for me, I'm gonna give him the, I don't know. I'm always trying to give players benefit of the doubt, but when you doing things that are just so glaring that it's really killing the momentum, like we need you, right? And when we need
he clearly got benched in that second half too.
It's like and when I'm sitting down there, I'm like, man, just put Gaskins in the game. It's bad when I'm asking for Myles Gaskins to be in the game.
But he proved he worked, man. He did some good things, right?
So it's like, I'm so disappointed in him right now, man.
So I got to ask you guys, and this wasn't in your pre-show notes, 2 losses in a row. Now we've seen him deal with in-game adversity. Now we're going to see how McDaniel handles some real adversity because now we've lost 2 games in a row. Things aren't all hunky-dory. The honeymoon is over. Your guys' thoughts on how you foresee Mike McDaniel handling this adversity, not just this week, but long-term, because, this game, 4-2 is a lot different than 3-3.
It is different. I think the good thing in a way is the majority of the core guys that's on this team have seen way worse than 4-2, 3-3, especially at the beginning of the season. So, and I think the other benefit was if we were 3-3 and Tua was a starter, we had everybody healthy, and his offense and everything was showing that one week it looks like it's the best thing since sliced bread, and the next week you'd be like, where is it? So I think the thing you got to really focus on and reflect back and say, okay, why haven't we been as productive as we haven't? And a lot of it's injuries. So like you said, we we already know we get Tua back. I'm sure Jalen and Tyreek are like, man,
Bro,
we
Jalen
can't wait.
Waddle's waiting for that return, eh?
He's been a lost guy there right now.
Bro,
Like,
someone said, I want to hit
Yeah.
y'all with some knowledge today. Someone said to me, everyone tried to tell us that Jalen Waddle was Tua's security blanket. Maybe all along, Tua was Jalen Waddle's security blanket.
Well, they work together. They're college teammates, and
remember last year with Brissett, he was only averaging about 40 some odd yards, like 42, 44 yards per game. Tua comes back and he was averaging over 80 yards a game.
Yeah, and then you think about it. I don't care who you are. You want to make plays when you're a playmaker, and if you get somebody getting you the ball, and you've seen it from just other guys, they want to eat. Whether it's a running back. If he's feeling it, he's getting it, a receiver. They get somebody feed them, hey, keep feeding me the ball because I'm feeling it, this and that. You're helping the team, but you're also competitive and say, okay, well, if I've been averaging 80, 100 yards receiving, if I keep this thing going, it helps the team. But at the same time, you get to showcase your talent to everybody in the league. So, man, when you play Miami, you ain't just got to worry about Tyreek Hill. You got to worry about Waddle, and you got to worry about Gesicki. They loaded over there. So, man, we got our work cut out for us. So, like I said, once you get a taste of that, you want to keep eating. And I know they're hungry, so I know they can't wait for Tua to get back.
For sure. All right. I got to ask this before we get into the Jet stuff. Austin Jackson returns. Is Greg Little going to the bench for you, or is it Liam Eichenberg? I vote Eichenberg.
Eichenberg for me. Like, anytime you getting dude is putting you on his forearm and he's walking you to the chest of the quarterback, yeah, you ain't ready. Like, that happened a lot, bro. He was getting demolished, man. And listen, I like the kid, but I said it all along. Some of these kids just are not functionally strong enough to deal with these grown ass men that they're dealing with. And that showed again on Sunday. He was bullied, bro, from the beginning to the end. He got bullied. And to spare him and to save him, sometimes you got to go ahead and sit him so that he can watch a little more and get functionally stronger just naturally and dedicate himself this whole entire season to watching and hitting the weights because he ain't there at all. It's bad.
That anchor is just not there, bro. Yeah. What are your thoughts, Richmond? Are you putting Little to the bench? Because Little's been struggling mightily since that hand injury happened too. So you put into the bench Eichenberg because, I mean, I don't know if you remember that play, Richmond. I actually forgot to send you. I was going to. There was a play, I don't know if you remember, where Skylar took that really big hit and he was like he was on it, he was basically laying face down. And that was all because Eichenberg was late. He was fan blocking, head on a swivel, and he just didn't pick up Jonathan. He went to hit. He just lunged and he whiffed on Jonathan Franklin Myers. It came up the middle. It was brutal. What are your thoughts? Austin Jackson comes back. Are you putting him at left guard in between, hopefully, a healthy Taron Armstead and Connor Williams, and taking Eichenberg out? Or are you putting him back at right tackle and sending Little back to the bench?
Well, I think the thing is, I kind of agree. You want to put the best five out there, so I agree with what y'all saying. But the other thing you just said was hopefully, and I just don't know if Taron Armstead isn't able to play a full game, then you got to take that into consideration as well. So, I mean, we count on eggshells with the offensive line. But if everybody's willing to play, I think that would make sense. Is the guy that's performing the worst should be the guy to sit down, and you put somebody in there to kind of solidify that front five because it makes a huge difference. I think Jackson has probably a little bit better anchor than Eichenberg, this and that. And like I said, if you can't play him at right tackle, put him at guard or whatever, and let's keep rolling. But the thing I do know is after losing two quarterbacks, we definitely need to have the best five out there to protect. Regardless of who's back there. So definitely want to see Jackson in the lineup. I'm just hoping Taron can kind of, hopefully his toe is feeling much better. He can, get back to playing because we definitely need him.
Ball game.
Yes, sir.
Vikings game this weekend. Does this defense have a realistic chance of shutting down Cousins, Jefferson, Thielen, and Dalvin Cook. They're the 10th best total offense. They average about 361 points per game. 361 yards per game. They're the 8th best passing offense. They average about 259.2 yards per game, whereas our passing offense right now is allowing about 276.8, best for 28th in the NFL. We're also allowing about 386.8 yards per game, about 25 yards more than they're actually gaining as an offense, and they're ranked 10th. Their rushing offense is 21st. They're only averaging about 101.8 yards per game, and our rushing defense is actually 13th. It's allowing about 110 a game. And they're really good on third down. They got the 7th best third down conversion rate at 42.9%. Overall, X says he's going to play this weekend. They got weapons on weapons on weapons. Are you confident with what you've seen in the first 5 weeks that we can slow this offense down?
I think what it comes down to, bro, is for me is how effective we can be still up front, right? They're a play action team, right? The Vikings are old school, pound, play action, pound, play action. You see what I'm saying? So if we can stop Cook on the first and second downs and put Cousins into a space where we can actually do some unique stuff coverage-wise against Thielen is the first down. He's the first down guru. Jefferson is the guy that hurts you. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I don't know. A banged up X against that guy is just not a good matchup. And I don't really think at this point right now, based on how well they are about executing what they do best, us being 100% healthy doesn't help us at all. And that scares me because in theory, defensively, they're not bad either. They're going to get after you with their front four. You know what I mean? They're going to do some creative stuff there. Can we do it? There's always a chance because we have the elements.
You expect them to do it?
No, I don't. I had us losing this game actually, and this was this was one of the games I had us losing just because of the fact that I know that first 5 was so brutal, and I was hoping that we come out of this, a little bit healthier. But the fact that we're not as healthy as I want us to be, I don't see how we can pull this off. If Skylar goes and pull this off, bro, I'll be extremely surprised because that's a good. The Vikings are the Jekyll and Hyde of the NFL, in my opinion. Man, they can play with the best of the teams, and they can also play down to the competition and play with the worst of them. And they're 8-8, 9-8, whatever the case may be. They have all the talent in the world to be a 12-win team, but they sometimes get in front of themselves. But right now, as of late, they've been very, very good about executing. And they seemed a little bit more driven with this new head coach they have. So that's the thing that bugs me, is that I don't know enough about that guy to be able to say what this team will do, because it's unorthodox. And with Zimmer, what was it, Zimmer? He was a coach, right? Mm-hmm. When he was there, they were predictable. You knew what was coming. There was no real razzle dazzle to it. It was going to be, Cook left, Cook right. Play action to the tight end or to the long ball. But this guy's got a lot of stuff in his bag, man, and we banged up, bro. So I don't know. I don't think we'll have enough to be able to we can slow him down in the first, but the elements, and I don't know what the weather's looking like, but either way, we got to be out there in it. They got to be out there in it. Hope for the best, But I just don't think we got enough for him, to be honest with you.
Richmond is, with Austin Jackson healthy, is Connor Williams back to left guard, Dieter back to center, Jackson to right tackle, Armstead to left tackle, and Robert Hunt at right guard. Is that our best available option?
That is an option. I don't know if that's the best option. And I guess my question would be, with Eichenberg struggling like he has, why hadn't they tried that before? Because we could already have. So what's the hesitation of them not pulling the trigger this and that?
Do you think there might be some politics involved because of they used a 3rd round pick and they traded an extra 3rd round pick to move up and get him?
Yep.
It could be a lot of time that plays in the part of
Always
whatever.
factors,
Yeah, it always factors up.
Boys, I gotta ask you this, okay?
Yeah.
Skylar, they announced basically that they're prepping. Skylar's going to be starting. Skylar, whatever, we're going. Do you guys think we stand a chance winning this game without Tua Tagovailoa or Teddy Bridgewater as the starting quarterback?
Nope.
Like, I expect an improvement in Skylar's game because he'll have a full week. They'll find out what he's comfortable doing, et cetera, and they'll game plan and install around him. But do you guys really, really feel comfortable with a second start going against, an offense on the other side where, given out how beat up our defense is right now, they could be explosive at any moment given the talent they have over there? I mean, we saw what Breece Hall just did to us. Imagine what Dalvin Cook could do. And hey, I'm a Breece Hall guy. He's my number one running back in this draft. Do you think we guys even stand a remote chance with Skylar Thompson as a starting quarterback? Because I'm going to say this. I think we stand somewhat of a chance, and I'll give you why. We were in that game.
We have a puncher's chance.
We were in that game where he wasn't doing very much, and we were a field goal away from putting the Jets back up against the wall in the fourth quarter there. So given you're going to have a week to prepare with Skylar and game plan and install, I will say that I think we have a chance, but I think I will add this caveat. Our chances vastly improve if it's Teddy or Tua. What are you guys' thoughts on the situation?
I think we agree with you on that. I think the key is if we can limit their big plays and if we play a bend don't break type of defense, because like you said, they got playmakers over there. Cousins, you got Jefferson, so they got big playability, and with both corners being out, that's some reason for concern. So I think, like you said, and then you playing Kirk Cousins, a seasoned quarterback, versus Skylar, this will be really his first start, because I guess you can count last week, but he wasn't prepared. But we know, like I say, he's got some growing pains to do, and I think, like you said, if we get the running game, the more efficient we can run the football, it limits that plays the time of possession, but it takes pressure off of him where he doesn't have to be in a position where he's got to drop back all the time, throw. And if we can get that going, that definitely helps. It's not going to be an easy game, but the thing, if we can play a bend, don't break, and force them to settle for a field goal every now and here and there instead of, getting that touchdown, I think we got a chance to win. But yeah, it's not impossible, but it's going to be tough, I think.
Bro, I don't have an answer for Danielle Hunter. That defense alone going to be a problem. Like, the corners don't scare me. I mean, they got old Pat Pete and
I like Harrison Smith, and they got Cameron Dantzler, who they drafted last year.
Yeah.
Booth is hurt.
My cousin,
but I like their buddy. I like their linebacking core with Hicks, Kendricks, and Zadarius Smith. They got a really good linebacking core too.
Patrick Jones, my cousin, who plays up there too. He got a lot of reps. He got a lot of play too now. But
from Pitt, right?
Yeah, we just banged
remember
up.
I liked him, right?
Yeah, we just banged up at the wrong time, man. But I didn't have us winning this game, so this was one. Yeah, I thought that that gauntlet was too, we'd win and come through it, but then they'd be standing there at the end of it, and then the green pastures opens up in the middle of the schedule. And be like, okay, we can get through these.
We're going to need to run the football this week. You need Raheem the Dream to take this game over and just put the game on his back. And if you're going to stand a chance with Skylar, Raheem needs to lead the way, bro. And then it's Skylar, feed Waddle, feed Tyreek. You can't go wrong targeting those two guys, man. You literally can't. Hopefully they worked on their timing this week, but I really think it's going to be key that run game gets going this week for us to stand a real chance at winning this ball game. I really do. So what are you guys' final thoughts and predictions? I'll save my score prediction for Friday on Inside the NFL, but I mean, I actually don't know. I'm actually going to wait till Friday and see how everything plays out. I'm torn right now. Cause I think if Teddy or Tua come back, we have a chance. And
what's the spread?
What's sorry, what'd you say?
Do we know the spread?
Let me look. I know there were clear favorites heading into this week. It's only 3.5 for the Vikings.
I don't know, man. I just don't think we're gonna win, but I don't know about a score. Like
it's too many unknowns. Like you say, you figure Skylar's playing. You don't know if Armstead is. It's a lot, so it's hard to kind of.
Because you guys both agreed with me if Teddy's cleared tomorrow, since we've only practiced for one day, you both agreed to me you're rolling with Teddy.
Yeah, I would. I believe, and I think we could win with Teddy.
Yeah,
but historically, I just don't know. I don't have that much faith in a rookie to be able to go in and deal with what's coming at him.
It's a home game.
That's the good thing. It is a home game. Yeah, it is good.
Don't change.
They don't want to get beat by no rookie quarterback either. So you know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, so you guys both have us losing, basically, right?
No, I'm pulling for the Dolphins.
Here we go, buddy. If you can follow Richmond's Webb's predictions over the last, buddy, for the last 2 years, we've had a perfect record according to Richmond Webb. We're Super Bowl champions in Richmond's heart.
It's my heart.
I gotta hear this. Go.
It's
Yeah,
so
it's gotta be your heart because if it was your head,
I gotta ride with the boys, man. Man, I hope they surprise the hell out of y'all, and then y'all be telling me next week, man.
Yeah. You're just gonna say they win every week and then brag when they actually do win. But when they don't win, you're gonna be quieter than the church mouse.
I'm going all in next week. If they win, I'm going all the way in.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna be mad at me.
You're gonna forget. You're gonna forget this conversation never even
happened. Probably right. You're probably right.
Oh, you can't fool me. All right, guys. I'm going to be live on YouTube Friday night on Finside the NFL to fully preview this game, go in the matchup to watch, keys to victory for the offensive and defensive side, do a little bit more of a deep dive into the preview of the Vikings and Dolphins. And then the game this weekend, Sunday, I will also be live on Finside the NFL, live reacting to it for everyone to see. So listen, if you're listening to us on Spotify, Stitcher, wherever, come check us out on YouTube as well. I just it's good. Let's get this W. I don't know what else to say. We need it. This is such a must win. It's unbelievable. Such a must win. All right, guys. I will see all y'all on Friday night on Finside the NFL on YouTube. Until next time, guys, we will see you right back here at the finish line. Hopefully, we will be talking about a W. Team Green Screen